adjustment to that, and I'm gonna start touching and burning with 1% flow, and I'm gonna just dodge all of the light areas and burn all of the dark areas until I come up with a result that I love and can appreciate. How much I dodge and burn really depends on, usually depends on the budget, or it depends on how much work needs to be done, depends on how good makeup is, and sometimes it depends on my mood. Because I mean, I love dodging and burning. I prefer to dodge and burn than to heal all day, because healing is just way too simple and too, what I'd say, healing is more of labor work to me, and dodge and burning is the more artistic aspect of what I do. So I prefer to dodge and burn. It feels less like labor and more like art. When dodge and burning is done, it feels more like I'm painting, you know. So that's why I prefer to dodge and burn. And maybe if it didn't take as long, I would probably dodge and burn everything and not do any sort of healing, which is possible, but that would take forever if I did that, so I'm not even gonna get into that. It's kind of stupid to do that, you know. But yeah. So I'm just gonna keep on touching and burning little fine details, like right here. You probably won't notice, but I'm not gonna zoom in any further than 50%. 50% is my limit. I'm sorry. These images are not gonna be going up for a billboard or anything, so I don't need to go in at 100% to make sure every little speck of dust less contrasty, I'd say. I think this is what I'm supposed to do, yeah. And remove the contrast that it has. Too much contrast, too much light. And as you can see, as I take out the contrast and the light, the color is a bit off. I'd say the color looks kind of still white, still grayish white. So we need to fix the color immediately. And to do that, I'm gonna use color balance because I'm not into the curve thing right now. And I'm just gonna paint that on her boobs. Okay. I would probably need to make some more adjustments to her boobs. Maybe I need to add some saturation. That's it. Saturation to that boob. And remove it from her hands because I got some on her hands. Okay. And also from the sides here as well. I'm gonna later fix the colors more easily with my gradient map, but right now we just want to make all the subtle changes that I can. Okay, now I think the boobs blend a bit better. They're well blended to me. Okay. Now I am going to continue dodging and burning. Sorry that I had to stray a bit. And I'm gonna work on texture for now. Work on texture. I'm gonna keep on dodging and burning. And texture tends to take up a lot of time. I don't know why it's so time consuming. I mean, I love working, even dodging and burning texture. I love that as well because it still kind of feels like a painting, you know. But I hate how long it takes. Jesus Christ. Sorry. But I'm just gonna keep on because if I try to rush, I mean, this is a client's work, so I can't rush it, you know. It's something I'm getting paid to do, so I have to keep on keeping on. So this is how professionals actually really do it, okay? They don't go in portraiture and they don't go in portraiture or use quick filters to blur skin. And by professionals, I mean real professionals. actually for the photographer's portfolio and not for a magazine or anything like that. So if you listen carefully, you can hear how I paint with my pen tablet. And I'll bring it a bit closer so that you can hear me paint. I'm not sure what an effect it can have when you hear. I'm not sure if you heard anything, but yeah. If you didn't hear anything, I'm sorry for the silence. But maybe during that silence you would have fallen asleep, I'm not sure. And luckily in this community, falling asleep is actually not a bad thing, you know. I love ASMR so much as well. And I like that I can incorporate it into something that I also love, which is teaching Photoshop and retouching. ASMR is really amazing. Really amazing what it does to me. I'm actually still confused as to why it works for me and it doesn't work for someone else, because I know people it doesn't work for, like my friend, my really close friend. ASMR. I didn't know what it was, so I didn't like go searching for ASMR. But eventually, I realized that I kept going back to the video even though I already know how to play it. I kept going back to the video to well, to listen to her, to put me to sleep, because it was really amazing how that felt just listening to her. It was really, really amazing. So I kept going back to her on how to play Mongala video in order to put me to sleep, because I kept falling asleep and it was really nice. So I kept going back, and then eventually I decided to click on her channel. And when I clicked the channel, I saw ASMR everywhere, so I kept listening to her, and one of my favorite videos by her is her nail polish collection. I listened to that for weeks upon weeks until eventually I decided to search more and more what ASMR was and what it does, and eventually I decided I'm gonna make some. But after Silence into the I got into gentle whispering, I think is the name. And one of my favorite videos from her is the sassy video where she's being very friendly and very open and very girly, and she's talking about colognes and these other things. I really like that video because I don't know, I just like how she sounds in that video above the rest, and she looks really pretty as well. Consider she looks really fun to look at, not just listen to. So that was that. And I think after I decided, okay, I'm gonna make videos now. And I think I decided I'm gonna do it with Photoshop. I mean, I'm not gonna do all my videos with Photoshop. I mean, these are just gonna be with Photoshop because I just wanted to try something new, something original, bring something new to the table, and hopefully that will get a lot of attention, a lot of viewership, you know. Just the fact that I came up with a new idea or something like that. I don't know if anyone else has made Photoshop ASMR. I never really researched any ASMR Photoshop tutorials. But if anyone else did, don't think that I copied your idea, because I didn't even know. But I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that ever made one. So if anyone else does make ASMR Photoshop tutorials, it's a matter of they copying me, not I copying them, because I've been in Photoshop for quite some time right now. But not like it would matter if they copy me or anything, I'm just saying. I know some people tend to splurge on these negativity, and they would, for trolling purposes, they would say, oh, I'm copying someone or something like that. It wouldn't really matter to me, but I'm just saying, you know, okay, maybe it does matter to me that people say stuff, but I even have another channel where I teach Photoshop, not in ASMR form. But people have been complaining on that channel about how I talk too much. That's why I decided to get into ASMR, because I like to talk a lot. I talk about unnecessary stuff, so people have been really complaining. They're like, get to the point already. On my teaching videos, clearly I'm not a good teacher. Well, not yet, but you know, they say some people, successful people start before they are ready. So I've been teaching for quite some time, and I'm not exactly a teacher, so maybe eventually in the future I'm going to be successful as a teacher, you know. So I'm not too sure yet, but we'll see. I'm actually a very young person as well. I'm like 19 years of age, and I've been teaching Photoshop for about 2 years, but I've been doing Photoshop for about 4 years. And I shit with Photoshop as well. Sorry about my swearing. Now I'm zoomed out for the hands because hands don't need to be as smooth as the face. You know, I don't need to go in and edit the texture of my hands because my hands have a lot of hair and all these other things that really needs to stay and just to remain natural, you know. So I don't need to do that to hands. I'm just gonna stay out and touch and burn her hands until I'm done. I'm actually getting really bored right now, so I may take a small break. I may pause the recording and take a small break and then come back at it. And also, I actually just woke up and I haven't taken breakfast as yet, so I may have to go get some breakfast. Before I continue, although there's someone sleeping right next to me and she's snoring like crazy. She's snoring, you know. She's really snoring. I love that when people are researching Photoshop and they come up with my videos, they think that I'm crazy. Because not everyone that comes into my video is going to be searching for ASMR. It's going to be people searching for Photoshop tutorials as well. So when they find my video and they're like, why is this guy whispering? It's going to be so funny. They're going to be calling me all kinds of names because it has already begun and I have only made 4 videos and they've already started calling me crazy names on YouTube, but it doesn't bother me. I'm as sane as it gets, even though I'm just maybe not probably not as sane as I think I am. Okay, people, I'm just kidding. I think I'm sane. Okay, maybe I'm not. Okay, I am. Or maybe the fact that I'm talking to myself right now makes me not so sane as I think I am, but you know, I think I'm sane. No one has accused me of being crazy. Except the people on YouTube who don't know me, or except you people who are listening to this right now and think, okay, he's talking to himself, so he's crazy, but I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to you. So I'm just gonna keep on touching and burning, and it's gonna take really long. This is also kind of like affecting texture, but it's not really texture. Like this is just to smooth things out, but it's not really affecting the texture. It's just to smooth out the blotches and stuff on her skin that's really annoying me. And the dark spots and stuff like that. And the changes are almost unnoticeable. They're almost unnoticeable, so they're actually very unnoticeable, but these are the changes I've done so far. Not much, as you can see. But I'm just gonna keep on doing it until we get somewhere eventually. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop this video because it's getting really long. I'm gonna go get some breakfast and get something to eat, and I'm gonna come back and continue with my touching and burning because uploading these videos tend to take quite some time, so I'm gonna just do that for a bit. And maybe I'll see you guys in the next video. It was really